What's up guys, and hello back here with you. Just wanted to talk about the Netherlight Crucible for a few minutes. Now that we've all had a couple weeks to play with it, see what it can offer, see what kind of procs there are. I just kind of wanted to put my 2 cents out there and just kind of make sure some people are staying in the right direction for what you want to do. So obviously, as you know, first off, for having your first point in Concordance, you get 15 item levels on your artifact, 5 from each of the top 3. You'll finish the second row of traits at 66. I just finished that the other day. Yeah, I just got 67 and I stopped until next week because artifact power farming sucks, you know. So as far as the second row of traits go though, I've gotten to try a few of them now. The first one that I got was actually Shadowbind. That was a pretty good one. I mentioned that first because I've had a couple people mention that it was actually really good for the artifact challenge. On the proc, it does a decent amount of damage and also heals you for what's supposed to be that same amount. That number has varied, like I've noticed. I don't know if it was just the RNG on the pull that I had it on or what, but I've noticed that the heal can be a little more than the damage. It's probably from the mastery, especially now that I have a bit more mastery now. I think I'm rocking 18%, yep. But I dropped that because I got a better relic. I got a different blood relic that had 500 mastery and 500 avoidance. So I decided to try that. It's been good. On my other 2 right now, I've got 1500 versatility when Concordance procs, and my life one has 1500 crit when Concordance procs. These have been really good. Obviously the extra 1500 versatility is awesome for us, not by itself, but stacked with the rest of the versatility that we get from Concordance, it can be really good. Like right now I've got, my proc is up to 8500, so you add that 15, that's 10,000 versatility. Like that's huge. On to the next one for the third row. Now this is the row that you're going to want to pay the most attention to as you get more relics. Hopefully the relics that y'all have been getting, especially the thrash ones, you've been checking that third row right here, the little gold square, to see what is procced on that third row. Like, so my blood relic right here, the one I have right now is a 910. It doesn't have mangle on the bottom. If you have a thrash relic, mangle is the proc that you want to try to get down here. As I said in my guide, all of the other artifact traits that we can get on these relics, they can be good, and until you do get a thrash or a mangle, whichever trait you have as a base on the relic, they're obviously not bad, especially like the survivability ones, like the bark skin on my fire one right now, my blood one, I got another bark skin. I did get a mango, so happy I got this. That Maw of Souls, I actually have it on my channel that I got this from, 940 life. I got a mango proc on that, so I was really happy about that because I've had shit luck with everything else. I had a few 930s and some 925s hanging out in my bank, and didn't get any thrash procs, so you know, that's fun. But worth noting, I am holding on to this relic in my bag. It's a 910 blood relic. I'm going to put it over here in the preview spot. Now it's got mangle as the initial trait, and then on my third row down here I've got the thrash proc. So once I hit level 72, I'll be able to use this. So if I don't get a better one, I'm just gonna hold on to it and see what I can get. I'm farming the shit out of Arcway right now. I'm using coins every week on Mistress Sazaine still, you know, but that's just how it goes, you know, that RNG. It's wonderful. So on to my next note, just to mention the other procs that we can get. The void traits, they're not bad. There's this Shadowbind that does the damage and the heal on the proc. I have the 1500 versatility and the 500 mastery plus 500 avoidance. Side note, the 500 avoidance is about 4.5% on the AoE damage reduction, so just to keep that in mind. Of that avoidance, it's not bad, but if you already have it on some other pieces of gear, obviously it's going to be okay. Always helpful, and it's a free stat. The one that I haven't seen, and I haven't seen anybody talk about yet, hopefully I'll get one someday myself to play with, but there's a void trait that it applies a dot that stacks up to 3 times and just stays there. It's supposed to be really good. It's supposed to be the highest amount of damage that you can get from any of these, so if anybody has that, I don't remember the name, but if you have that trait proc in your Crucible. If you can tell me how that 3-stack dot is working, how much damage it does, I'm really curious to find out. I'd really like to know. And the last one for the void traits, it's after it puts a thing on your target and after 8 seconds it explodes for AoE damage around you. I mean, it could be good for teaming weeks like this week, but I don't know. It's kind of subpar. I feel like the 1500 versatility is a little better than that, especially when trying to think about, obviously you want to put out more damage, but the versatility procs and just versatility in general, as I said in my guide, it's a good stat to be able to put out more damage because you don't want to sacrifice too much survivability for the DPS that you want to do. That's never really good. Like, I tried playing with the Umbral Moonglaze in place of my Carapace, and it was okay, but I could definitely notice not having that armor proc. You have the extra versatility on there, but the armor proc on that Carapace, like even a 920 or a 930 is really good, so don't sacrifice too much survivability for DPS. If you're getting fucked up too much but you're doing a lot of damage, you're doing something wrong. You need to scale it back a little bit, maybe adjust your setup. So just always keep that in mind that as you change gear, your playstyle may change a bit, just as far as like how defensive you want to be and blah blah blah. So back on track to talk about the light traits for the relic procs. There's a 500 haste and 500 movement speed one, that's not bad. There's an absorb shield proc. There's the one that I have now. It's a 1500 crit when concordance is up. There's one that procs a little bit of damage and a bubble on you. There's one that either does extra damage or does an extra heal based on if you're doing damage or healing. And the one that could be good, maybe not for Guardian Druids but for other tanks, there's one that has a chance on taking damage to proc a hot on yourself that can stack up to 5 times. So I mean, if you're getting wrecked, it could be good. I don't know the numbers on that. I'm going to put a link in the description down below for the Wowhead post on this that has the traits and the numbers on there, but the numbers aren't going to be exactly accurate, especially before you factor in things like your mastery, which would affect the healing on that. On yourself, and the versatility, which affects all of your healing. Again, I'll put the link to the Wowhead article down below in the description. And lastly, just to put this out there, and to emphasize again the relics that you want to try to be getting, you either want to get a Mangle base or a Thrash base relic, because once you cap out the Crucible, which is at artifact level 75, you'll be able to use any of the ones that you get. So Mangle or a Thrash base on the relic itself, and then if you're going for the Mangle ones, just hop on the Crucible, check that out, and see what the third row proc is. So to go over a list here real quick, if you have a pen, you can write this down, pause the video, just to make a quick list. I threw this together for myself a little while ago, so just wanted to pass this along so you have a base for notes on what you should be farming if you were trying to farm for the relics. So the first dungeon there is Violet Hold. It has a Blood Mangle relic. Anything above Reg Mythic you're going to have to wait to try to get in your chest, but obviously dropping the item level on the relics for Thrash over everything else is what you want to be doing anyway. As I said in my guide, it is worth it. I've seen some new math that if you have the Luffa wrappings, 3 Thrash relics is roughly equal to 60 item levels on your weapon as far as the DPS goes. So keep that in mind. You want to be using Thrash relics or Mangle with a Thrash proc. So next, Blackrock Hold has a Fire Mangle relic. Halls of Valor has a Fire Thrash. Maw of Souls has a Life Thrash. Neltharian's Lair has a Life Mangle. Lower Kara has a Fire Thrash. And then Archway has a Blood Thrash. All of these dungeons are not bad. Lower Kara can be rough depending on the affixes, and it's still buggy. I don't think they're ever going to fix it. So just be prepared for that if you're going to go in there. For the raids, starting with Tomb of Sargeras, you probably know these. Goroth has a Life Thrash. Mistress has a Blood Thrash. Maiden has a Fire Thrash. So keep those in mind while you're in there and what you're going to use your coins on. Once Antorus is out, Kingaroth, if that's how you say it, has a Life Thrash Relic, and Varimathras has a Fire Thrash Relic. If you want to backtrack a bit too, in Nighthold, Tichondrius drops a Blood Thrash Relic, and Emerald Nightmare, Cenarius drops a Life Thrash one too. Going down the list, Greater Invasions, Matron Fulnuna has a Life Mangle. The World Bosses in the Broken Isles, Calamir, I believe down in Azuna, has a Fire Thrash Relic. The Broken Shore, while the Nether Disruptor is up, Maleficus has a Blood Mangle one too. And then the World Quests, it kind of varies out in the Broken Isles. I know the PvP towers occasionally have them up. It's usually a Fire Thrash. There's occasionally a Life Thrash out there, but mainly you're just gonna see the fire ones there. And there is a world quest that pops up every now and then out here on Argus. It's a Blood Thrash, so just keep an eye out for that. The quest that it has is usually easy, so that's it. I hope everybody is enjoying the patch. Thank you all again for checking out my channel, for your continued support with the views and the comments and the likes. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. I'm going to be putting out a decent amount of videos this week. The next video that I'm going to be doing, I hope, is going to be a full Mythic Plus run with commentary, just myself. I had some requests for this, just to kind of talk about my planning, what I'm thinking about, what I'm doing, what I'm saving my cooldowns for, and all that. So hopefully that'll be good. I'll have that up as soon as I can. And today is Monday, so looking forward to next Tuesday is going to be an easy Mythic Plus week. The Sanguine, Volcanic, Fortified. So get your Mythic Plus in this week for what you can, and then be ready to farm it heavy next week, because it's going to be fairly easy runs as long as you're watching out for the Volcanic. Be sure to talent for Typhoon next week as well for the Sanguine. And that's it. So thank you guys again for watching. Hit me up in the comments down below. Like if you liked. Hit that subscribe button. And I will see you again very soon.